Hello friends, Bishop Tom Dowd here with another video of Catholic teaching in 10 minutes or less. In this video I'm continuing a series that I've called All About God. I put the word all in quotation marks because obviously we can't say everything about God in 10 minutes or even in a series of 10-minute videos, but we're going to do our best to explore some really important themes because obviously the concept of God, the idea of God, the teaching about God is at the very heart of the Christian religion. Any religion, if you think about it, but certainly for Christianity, it's all about God. And so that's what we're looking at together. In this video, I would like to address a subject, God's name. Believe it or not, God has a name. In the Bible, in tradition, we see all kinds of labels applied to God, different titles, different terms that are used to describe God. But in the Bible, there is a point where God has a conversation with an extremely important prophet, and in that dialogue, God reveals his name. This is from the book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 14. That's where the name is found, but the conversation begins a little bit earlier. The conversation is with the prophet Moses. Extraordinarily important person for understanding biblical history and all of our tradition for Jews and Christians together. And in this dialogue, the Lord says to Moses, I have observed the misery of my people who are in Egypt. I have heard their cry on account of their taskmasters. I'll skip ahead a bit. The cry of the Israelites has now come to me. I have also seen how the Egyptians oppress them. So come, I will send you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? He said, I will be with you, and this shall be a sign for you that it is I who sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall worship God on this mountain. But Moses said to God, if I come to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your ancestors has sent me to you, and they ask me, what is his name? Note the question. What is his name? What shall I say to them? God said to Moses, I am who I am. He said further, thus you shall say to the Israelites, I am has sent me to you. That is an extraordinary statement. Because in that passage, God is saying, here is the name. Moses asked the question, what's your name? When I tell the people I'm being sent by God, they're going to say, what is this God's name? What's the answer? And the name that God reveals is so extraordinary because it's not just a label. Like when we're born and our parents, for example, give us a name, it's an attribute of who we are, but they could have just as easily given us another name. But this name, it's not just a label for God. This name is revealing an element of God's very nature. And it's something that we talked about in another one of the videos in this series. The idea that no one created God. God has always been. God has always existed. In fact, God is the source of being for everything else, that God's essence is his existence and vice versa. Well, how do we know that? How do we know it's not just a bunch of fancy philosophical words? Well, my friends, here in the Bible, in these few words of dialogue between God and Moses, I am who I am. That's the expression of being. And you notice this is being said in the present tense. So there's like a sense of stability and eternity involved in that. God even says, when you see the people, say to them, I am has sent me to you. The very principle of being itself is coming to you. God is the source of being, the foundation of being, the ground of being. I didn't even erase these words from the last time I made a video on this subject. It's the exact same words in the same position on the board, because I knew that we would be talking about this eventually. I am who I am is not just a label. It's an expression of God's very nature. In sharing this name, God is revealing to Moses, and through Moses to everyone else, this notion that the being of God, the essence of God, the existence of God, they're all the same thing, and God is the one who is for all eternity. It's fascinating. It's so profound and yet summarized in just a few words. Now, I will tell you that there is another way to translate that phrase into English. I put it here in red. I will be who I will be. You can actually put the expression in the future tense, not just in the present tense. And I also find that extraordinary because, if you see I am who I am, it could seem kind of static. Like you look at a rock, it is what it is. It's not doing anything. It's not becoming anything. It's just sitting there. So if you say, what is it? Well, it is what it is. It implies, at least in English, a sort of static existence. There's not a lot of movement. There's not change. It's just there. But by saying, I will be who I will be, the fact that both of these are valid ways of expressing it is to show the eternity of God as the source of being, the principle of being itself. I am who I am. But it also reveals that there's a dynamism within God. God is not a static entity. God is not like some cosmic energy field that just sits there. God is not, something impersonal that simply, acts as a resource for other things. The idea is that God's existence has an internal dynamism to it. It's not that God changes into something else, but it's that God's existence is sort of constantly being thrust forward. There's something about God's nature, his essence, that has an internal dynamic that it's like he's always becoming what he already is on a continual basis. It's very subtle, but it's very powerful because it preserves the concept of God's eternity, simultaneous to the idea that God's not a rock just sitting there. It's not just a stone. God is a living God. There's a life, a dynamism beyond what we can understand of biological life, but that exists within the very nature of God. As Christians, we believe that that principle of inner life, that principle of dynamism, has actually been revealed to us. That's one of the core ideas of Christianity. But it didn't just originate with Christianity. It originates with this very conversation between God and Moses so many centuries ago. So we will be continuing our discussion of all about God, different subjects, including what this dynamism means and how it's revealed in Christian tradition. But we're going to need more videos for that. In the meantime, I thank you for joining me. Please do like this video on whatever social media that you have, share it with others, and you're welcome to sign up for the Substack mailing list if you would like to get this video delivered directly to your email inbox. You can go to 10minute.video, a simple web address, put it in, and you'll find the Substack resource. Very easy to sign up. I want to make this easy as possible for you to receive these teachings and to be able to share them with others. And please do so we can help spread the word, the good news of the beauty of this Christian teaching, this Catholic faith, which we're able to share, thankfully, through this technology with the entire world. In the meantime, I am carrying all of you in my heart. I pray for you, and God bless you all.